Bom dia. Sejam muito bem-vindos à TechWeek.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Tech Week. This is the third day of this edition of our Tech Week, and we've been together ever since Monday, learning a lot about the impact of digitalization in businesses and in our lives. We're getting an overview of this landscape, both inside and outside Scania, to learn more about the initiatives that are being implemented here and elsewhere. It's not the future, it's the present. My name is Patricia Azioli. I'm responsible for the communication area in Latin America. And it's been a pleasure to have you here to introduce you a different Scania, a Scania that goes far beyond trucks, a Scania that is all about technology. So if you've been here with us, you know that already. You also know that Tech Week is a 100% online event, but this program, this show is about learning and entertainment too. We want you to have a good time so that you on the other side can have the best experience possible. In here, in this venue, we're complying with all health protocols to make sure everyone here is safe. I think that's an important reminder for everyone. And we hope you are also taking care of yourselves and being careful so that we can come around this difficult time. I think this is always a timely message, even during our Tech Week. This event is streamed live every day on Scania Brazil's YouTube channel from 10 a.m. to noon Brazilian time with simultaneous interpretation into English and Spanish and Portuguese. We have fellows from all over the world, so we have English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Pick your language at the bottom of your screen and enjoy the ride. Okay? I think this was the beginning of my warm-up, but the most important thing here is you. It's your participation, your engagement. Juliana Sa will read your comments, your insights, your questions to make sure that this is interactive with your participation. Make sure you send your questions and your comments. Now, before we actually start, let's take a look at our attendance and our guests today. So many people today, everyone tuned in to our programming today. Stay there, don't leave. And in addition to our super special VIP booth, we also have a very special guest today. I'm very excited about the agenda for today. Today we'll have the guy who stands for the future of technology in our imagination. Ever since older people like me used to watch the Jetsons, do you remember the Jetsons? Did you watch it? They were so creative and everything seemed so far-fetched, right? So inspired by the Jetsons, we have a special guest today. I now introduce you to our Yumi robot. Yumi, my dear. Warm hands for Yumi. This is amazing. Warm hands for our Yumi robot. Thank you, Yumi, for joining us today. That's a lot, isn't it? Yumi, I'll come back to you in a minute because you today have this unique position in our audience. But jokes aside, thank you very much for joining us today. Yumi is going to be by my side all day. And on that note, I have a poll for you now. I want to learn it from you now. In the future, will robots replace humans? What do you think? Yumi, what do you think? So, guys, you can answer the poll, use the QR code. You can answer yes for any activity, never, only for repetitive tasks. Humans and machines will coexist in harmony, and humans and machines will fight for power. What do you think? Point your cell phone camera to the QR code on the screen or use the link on the chat. We'll leave the QR code at the bottom of the screen so that you can click on it later. And Juliana is going to share the results with us in a minute. So for today, May 26th, yesterday we had many insights. We shared many insights with our knowledge. They share their expertise with us. Those of you who were here today can confirm that. Please tell me in the chat, what insights did you have yesterday, right? One of the things that we talked about yesterday was the leading role that IT is playing today in many organizations. IT is no longer only a support area, it's strategic and integrated with the rest of the organization. We also talked about the open mind, the importance of an open mindset for change. Marcelo talked about that. Marcelo from the Agilistas podcast talked about that, and the importance of testing and failing before you scale up. Empirism is key for today's projects. I like this idea. And we also talked about the role of leaders, the role of leadership. Leaders are supposed to remove barriers and obstacles rather than work vertically and hierarchically. That's also important to keep in mind. And digitalization will be a consequence of our change in behavior. It's highly related to culture, and we've been talking about that ever since our first day. One of the coolest insights we had yesterday was from Mr. Daniel Noppels from O Boticário, who said, in practice, you lose the passion for ideas and you fall in love with solving problems. I like this idea too. This is a very interesting insight. So to start today's program, I will invite Mr. Adolfo Bastos. He is a fan of biking. He's lived in England, Sweden, Argentina, but his heart lives in Santos on the coast of São Paulo. And of course, he's a fan of the Santos football team. Mr. Bastos, can you hear us? I sure can, Patricia. Good morning. Can you guys hear me? Perfectly. Good morning to you, Patricia. Good morning to Yumi. Is Yumi a he or a she? We'll find that out later. Well, for all our guests and attendants today, it's a pleasure to be here today to talk about a topic that is directly related to improvement and efficiency in our processes. For you to understand the importance of technology, information, and digitalization for our logistics, I would like to tell you a bit more about our production routine. We're 100% connected with our suppliers, with the shop floor production areas, and most of all, the delivery to our clients. We have set up, we assemble about 100 products a day globally, buses, trucks, and engines, which we call power solutions these days. We have plants or manufacturing plants in Sweden, where our headquarters are, the Netherlands, Poland, France, Argentina, and of course, Brazil. Parts and component suppliers, we have about 1,000 suppliers of parts and components in countries like Japan, China, India, all across Europe, US, Mexico, Argentina, and of course, Brazil. When our products are finished, what happens then? We export to 120 countries worldwide, from Japan to Russia to New Zealand, Australia, China, African countries, Europe, the Americas, Central America, US, and more recently, Canada. And what is the role of logistics in this process? Well, you can imagine that's a lot of work to be done in logistics, and our role is mainly to connect suppliers with manufacturing plants and plants to clients, dealers. We have to deal with a number of SKUs, materials, trains, trucks, ships, planes, distribution centers, everything until our products arrive at our warehouses, and everything is done in a monitored and tracked way with our regional control strategy, where we can ensure that all supplies are delivered, optimize our production mix, and most of all, ensure the delivery of quality products to our customers. This is also 100% monitored and tracked through this new control power, our outbound control power. So How is that related to technology? Well, everything. To make this humongous engine work, we need information. So through technology and information, we can monitor our drivers 100% of the time in real time. We can help them drive safely and efficiently, reducing fuel costs and CO2 emissions into the atmosphere. In summary, technology and information are the foundation for 100% integrated logistics. Enjoy this tech week, and I am already. Nice, Adolfo. Thank you. We still have 2 more days. Your team will be talking to us in a few minutes to tell us more about this amazing logistic challenge that you face every day. I think that sounds exciting and challenging. And I love the fact that you always make it work in the end. And now let's go back to our poll and let's see what you answered. I will now invite Juliana. Juliana, over to you. Good morning, Patty. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this 3rd day of our Tech Week. Let's take a look at your answers. Who's going to win the battle between humans and bots? Will robots replace humans in the future? Let's take a look at your votes. I'm curious now. What do you think? I also voted. So let's see. Only repetitive activities or tests in any activity. Wow, that's relieving, right? Yeah, I feel the same. Relief. Yeah, high five, Yomi, because the future is ours. Yeah, most said that humans and machines will continue to coexist in harmony. This means a peaceful future, right? Yes, yes. I like the idea of a peaceful future too. So thank you for your answers, guys. And before we proceed, let me give you a brief reminder. Many of you are asking me how to participate in the Tech Week booth or the VIP booth. Just send an email to techweek@scania.com, techweek@scania.com. Send us an email. Tell us you want to join the VIP booth, and then tomorrow you'll be a part of it. So to proceed, I'll start by sharing the program for today. Today we're gonna have our team of experts, Scania Latin America, to talk about digital transformation in logistics in our plants. We'll have Leonardo Iris from the engine factory, Victor from logistics, Donato Rischioni from the chassis plant, and Mr. Renato Colado from the cabin plant. And to share inspiring cases with us, we have some guests from outside Scania. Today, we're going to have Mr. Nelson Kumagai, who's a manager of robotics at ABB. ABB is the responsible for this amazing creature that's here with us today, Yumi, and also Carolina Sevisiuk, who's director of digital transformation at Nestlé Brazil. I'm sure they have a lot of knowledge and insights to share with us. So since today's topics is production and logistics in relation to technology, we have a message from Mr. Matthias Stromsten, directly from Sweden.
Yes, Scania has a long background in the industry, 130 years of development, and is a strong player in the competition. Our strength is our people and culture. We focus on our core values: customer first, respect for individual, quality, determination, integrity, and last but not least, our team spirit. We're constantly challenging ourselves. We need to do that to have high performance over time, and the key enabler for that is Scania Production System and our continuous improvement mindset. You can say this is in our DNA, but without technology development and our people and talents, it will never happen. We have a lot of cases that show how Scania is shaping a future towards sustainable transport and how technology and Industry 4.0 will be the enabler for that. And to talk more about that, we have some great experts from our own production and logistics that is supporting and making the difference in this journey. The speakers, Renato, Leonardo, Victor, and Donato, will talk about how new technologies are supporting production and logistics in operational efficiency improvements, quality, data availability for better decisions, and so forth. Also, they will touch the subject of the competence challenge for the future and our opportunities, which can be very interesting for our Scania people and as well the next generation of Scania people. And I, as a representative of the management level here in Latin America, can assure you that digitalization and implementation of new technologies will be the top priority for us in order to support the Scania in our journey, and as well as society, the planet, and of course our customers and even the customers' customers to drive the shift to sustainable transport solutions. So now back to you, Patricia, and I will be very interested to see our next guest. Thank you.
Muito legal o recado do Matias. Obrigada, Matias. E chegou a hora de a gente começar aqui.
Thank you, Matthias. Thank you very much. And Patricia, shall we get down to business? Yes, let's get to it, Juliana. I see there's people from logistics, from production, from all our departments. We have students, special guests. It's a beautiful audience. And now, like I said, let's play some newscasters. Let's pretend we're on TV, really, and let's speak to our correspondents overseas. Good morning, guys. Thank you for joining us. Let's start with Mr. Leonardo Iris. He is the production manager at our engine factory, and he's the father, one of the parents of our self-guided vehicle. Leo is the father of this creature that was created in 2010. Since then, AGVs are what we call AGVs have reproduced and bred, and we have over 200 units today. Leonardo, what technologies do we find in Scania plants to increase productivity? Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about this technology, which you can imagine is very dear to me. First, congratulations, Patricia, Juliana, congratulations to the rest of the team. I was here for the first 2 days, and I hope I can be here tomorrow and on Friday. And yes, it's cool to be considered the father of a disruptive technology, right? Like you said, it multiplied, and there's more units than we imagined before. It's cool to know that the results are recognized, and that's precisely why the technology reproduced. AGV, this auto-guided vehicle AGVs, were designed with the purpose of improving production processes. At Scania, we usually say that we do technology and innovation with a purpose. You have a problem, you have to solve that problem. You need a solution for your internal client or your external client. You need logistics, assembly. And with that purpose in mind, we start working on a technology. When we started with this project a couple of years ago, say 2010, many years ago, that's when we built our first prototype. The purpose was actually fairly simple. We wanted to bring materials, supplies, parts from A to B. Seems simple, sounds simple, but some years ago, it was innovative and disruptive. So this project was conducted with that purpose in mind, to increase productivity, to bring us some gains like reducing waste. Too many displacements or too much displacement is a form of waste, and with continuous improvement in mind, we try to reduce waste in that area, improved ergonomics, improved security, reducing the traffic of forklifts inside our plants. So before designing that, we had to find a solution to a specific problem, and we ended up coming up. We came up with this auto-guided vehicle, the so-called AGV. But the idea was so successful in the past that Scania chose to invest in that technology and create an innovation culture, foster an innovation culture to encourage people to learn and try and engage in this process. Like Juliana said, the AGVs have bred, multiplied, because knowledge was multiplied. We fostered that innovation culture, and today we're proud to say that we have over 200 AGVs, improving efficiency, reducing waste, and enhancing ergonomics and security in our organization. And since we're talking about evolution, technology, and innovation, it's important to say that these AGVs have evolved. And today they have even other names. We can say AMR, Autonomous Mobile Robot, or Autonomous Mobile Robot, AIV, Automatic Intelligent Vehicle, and these vehicles have other embedded technologies because over time, we noticed the need to improve our first prototype and make them more flexible. Today they're smart enough to learn the way around the plant, to avoid obstacles along the way, and thus increase our security and improve ergonomics, because today they can automatically unload without the help of a person, of an operator. Of course, within certain solutions, but yes, this is done already. And in the beginning of the week, we talked about that, and better than a solution, they bring us information. Not only do they bring us a solution, they bring us information. These vehicles are now generating information. They're collecting data, and information is the new oil. And these vehicles are bringing us real-time location data, shipment time data, downtime data, so that we can make the best decisions, informed decisions in the shortest possible time. We're going to talk more about data today, but I wanted to highlight this because I find this particularly interesting. Yes, thank you, Leo, and thank you for joining us. I know that you were here the other days, and thank you for joining us. I like the fact that he talked about the fact that our factory, that our plants are all about a purpose, looking for our customers, efficiency, and this innovation culture, like Leo said, this innovation mindset, this innovation culture is extremely important for us to do our work at Scania. Thank you, Leo.
Now I call Vitor talking about logistics. You also have technology in there to increase productivity and solve problems. Hello, Juliana. Good morning to you all. I would like to thank the invitation. It's really nice to participate in this well-organized event. Congratulations to all the ones involved. Inside logistics, I think productivity has to be in our DNA. I don't know, anyone watching today, I never know someone that was looking for a product online on a marketplace by the more expensive shipping. They are always seeking the one with the less expensive shipping. And this for us is translated in productivity, efficiency. Each day we need it more. And talking about Scania, we have a series of projects, activities. We are seeking the productivity and efficiency. And one thing that I think is really cool to highlight here at TechWeek is about our Mosquito project. It's a drone where we do the inventory inside our logistics center. Before that, we had the operators doing the inventory in a manual way. It means they were walking through the warehouse in our logistics center with a data collector scanner, scanning each one of the boxes we had at the shelves and the ones in the upper floors, up to 12 meters high in our logistics centers. That's, of course, it's low efficiency and low productivity because we need a platform, lifting platform. And besides, the safety process is not so safe having a collaborator operating 12 meters high. That's why we have our drone, our little Mosquito, and we can make the boxes reading through image of the camera we collected. The image is translated, scanned. We can see what is inside the box, in which position the box is at the warehouse. We send it to the cloud, In there, we will cross with a series of information of many systems we have at Scania through data integration. And then there is a report to operators so they will know what is wrong, what needs to be adjusted inside the warehouse. There's a huge efficiency that it will bring besides everything that I said. Currently, we don't need anymore. Before, we needed operator during the reading, using spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, crossing data. We would lose a lot of time with that. With Mosquito, everything is made at the cloud, the data analysis is made, and in the end of the day, they have a report knowing on what is right, what is wrong inside the warehouse. And the adjustments are really easier. We gained in efficiency 30% inside the warehouse with this process, and we can read more, we can make more changes than before. That's the way we are following side logistics, and it's a nice case we have. Besides that, to talk about logistics, besides the drone, it's nice talking about, we have Yumi, our colleague in there. It's not a physical robot in our daily routine. We have the administrative robots, RPAs. In logistics, we have many repetitive processes, back office, and the RPAs are a nice way to follow to a valid example. Currently for our Latin America markets, all of them, the billing is made through a robot. From the moment the truck is ready, the end of the line, we have an input for one of our robots, and these ones will handle all the documentation until the shipping of the product and entering outbound, as Dolfo said. Everything is done by the machine itself. And currently, our collaborators, instead of making repetitive tasks, accessing websites, copying spreadsheets, they are administering and developing process, and not only pushing buttons, things that Yumi and his friends can help us better with that in a more efficient way and bringing what we need inside logistics, less cost, less deadline, and higher traceability of processes. I'm amazed because you are bringing a production and logistics reality to us where efficiency can be improved with equipment like robots and drones. Who knew? They are talking about that a lot before on the comments. Before talking about the comments, I just want to tell the ones following with us, in our break, we'll have a video talking about this mosquito case that is really cool. A drone doing an inventory, something out of the planet. And Patty, and what about the guys on the chat? The chat is out of the planet as well. But just for you to know, Marcio Brandão, engineering student, following Scania's advances, and we have a lot. Luis Felipe Lacerda, congratulations of the development logistics at Scania, making our process each day more robust and efficient. Marcio Brandão again. Drone is an amazing solution. Marcio, wait a minute, you'll see more about that. And many congratulations for you all. Victor, efficiency and productivity and logistics, technology contributing to the safety of collaborators, and very good explanation. I'm really enjoying it, and we are too. Now with you, Drew. Let's follow. We talked about on how these equipment may increase efficiency and gaining time. And I want to know from you, Donato, how technology will help us to have more quality in what we produce in our plant in São Bernardo do Campo City. Good morning, Juliana. I would like to thank for the opportunity of representing the chassis factory in this event. And here at the chassis factory, the most recent introduction we made about is artificial intelligence, where we are using cameras to image recognition. We struggled with that, putting tags on our air with our system, and inserting the tags, we reduced from 0 detour the tags. It's something on the legislations. We need to do this. And not only that, and for us here at Chassis, we have a journey on digitalization. Besides this technology, we have visual instruction. We are making easier the counting technician life, because now he knows what he's counting. We have the sustainability. Only at the pre-assembly, we're reducing 2.5 tons the paper printing. We are connected to logistics. It's really important. We have digital Kanban. It provided us to not interrupting line stop and the physical space at the line, because it's really important. In chassis factory, we have a reduced space and we have a gain in space. We have all the connectors, where if we have a detour and the belt does not turn on the product, and we have the tracing of these products. We have the data if it's necessary. And also talking about competence of our collaborators, we have competence matrix in production, where the person can only work in an assembly point if it's skilled and trained, using his digital fingerprints and everything is controlled by the area leadership. And what is important in all of it, these technologies were implemented internally. Collaborators from automation area, along with logistics, IT, maintenance. It's a cross working here where everybody can be developed. And that's what we are working here at Chassis Factory. Thank you, Donato. That's so cool. We are all IT. We said that before. We are all collaborators building Scania. Leonardo Silvia said, this event is amazing. And as an engineering student, I am widening my view and seeing the future will be amazing. It is amazing right now, and you will see much more today. And we saw some scenes as long Donato was talking. We are missing that, but we will come back to the visits to the factory when the pandemic is over. And you have this team of huge professionals following you, our operations in their hands. We are missing you all, seeing the factory again. Soon we will overcome this pandemic and open the doors again to the visitors. So let's follow with Renato. Renato, yesterday we talked about data, and in our production, how data is helping on decision-making at the factory. First, I would like to say good morning, Patricia, Ju. It's an honor, it's a pleasure to be at this event and participating on this TechWeek, providing us so much learning. I would like to say hi to cabins, guys, automation, engineering, quality. It's an honor to represent you right now. And as we saw along the week, it's true. We have each time more data being used in our process. We have many automation process implemented again along the year, the purchase of new equipment and the automation of existing equipment, installation of sensors, installations made a long time, and the implementation of this structure along the years, all this data collection to the analysis, the data analytics, as we say. Renato said on Monday, all the companies are seeking that machine learning and AI and using this data to decision-making. From a simple one on a daily routine, an interference inside the productive process, something that needs to be solved in real time, or something strategical like productivity, investment, so we can make it in an assertive way and bring in the expected results to Scania. Another thing that is relevant to say about our process is the integration of equipment with this supervision. We have many communication layers inside the process, providing a huge amount of data from the first moment when we are receiving the information. It's possible to use them by the support areas of maintenance, engineering, quality, automation team as well, so we can act in real time along with the productive processes. And as we could, it would be like we can make a powerful diagnosis in real time on what needs to be done to retake the regular situation. We can make the predictive, preventive analysis in our process. We are able to know what's going to happen, that may happen in the future, and work strongly on reducing waste, potentialize productivity gains efficiently inside the process. All this information, it will open a world of possibilities for testing, experimenting, prototyping, as we learn on Monday. Fail, fix, and learn in an agile way, advancing as fast as possible regarding digitalization. And as we learn, doing this with IT, getting all these informations, changing into a simpler visual way, dashboards, reports, so we can have this information in a simpler way to decision making, so we can extract the best result as possible. I can say we are each time with more enthusiasm with this project. Now we can apply things in practice in our daily routine. It's happening in the shop floor. We have innovation and creativity in each corner of our process and company. We're not talking about the future, that's the present. It's what's happening now. You are with a lot of enthusiasm. We are too, and the guys on chat too, they want to know about this technical process on Scana. Technology is in fact all over Scana's process, both in production and logistics and in other areas. We'll talk about that along the week. I will come back to Leonardo. Talk about these technologies we have on our daily routines. Are they also used to improve productive processes at Scania? For sure, Ju. I can talk about one technology making huge difference in our daily routine is the VR headset. The ones that kids use at home for games, for watching 3D videos. This technology is spread and applied in our daily routine for, once again, optimize processes, improve safety, and prevent waste. You can imagine that we can use a technology where we can simulate environments which were not built yet. We can use it for optimize 3D layouts in the build of a new place inside our plant. We can use it for simulating productive environments, for simulating painting processes, for example. You can simulate the painting of a product, knowing what I have to correct or not without wasting a single drop of paint, causing no damages to the environment, and not putting our collaborators in risk. Everything is made in the virtual environment and with a huge gain with our products, processes, and our clients. Thank you. And I will follow with Victor to know. And what about logistics? What is important of data management? Is huge. This is a bigger one right now. Besides logistics, if we're looking to our process, end-to-end process, I would say almost 50% we are not handling boxes. We don't have a physical operations. In fact, it's just sending information from a point to the other, the final end customer information bringing to the factory, sending information from the factory to a supplier or internally. And as you can see on this picture, is so a couple of years ago, it's the first tower of transport control tower. What we have in here is organizing the information, the data. We have so many, but the most important is not only having the information, is to know working on this data, this information to present to operator, for the people working on the daily routine to take the right decision, make the right decision. Digitalization is not having a lot of screens, the website or the process in a computer, but making a decision over data based on what we need. Our control tower is about that. We have end-to-end. We have some of them along the process. We have inbound one, transportation, receiving the materials arriving. With this control tower, we can optimize our transportation. All the vehicles leaving for the suppliers and arriving to the factory are connected. If we have traffic in the middle of the way, we have this information beforehand. We can detour the truck or replan our receipts. Decision making in real time of what is happening right now, presenting data to collaborators so they can make the decision over the things that we need, and not only the need of having a very experienced person with many years of baggage, and we can democratize the information, having more help and more people on optimization and process control than working with information we don't need. Excellent, Vitor. Another information we just got about logistics. In fact, who knew data is so important to Scanner's logistics? If you think this is amazing, you can comment on the chat. And let's follow with Donato. I would like to know, to work with all this technology, which kind of competence this professional needs to develop to adapt to this technological factory? What do you suggest? Well, Juliana, about the technical part, automation, guys, we have specific trainings more connected to programming, but we have Scana University where you can choose your learning path. You can say that is more important for you, not only on technology part, but also behavioral that can help you, can help this future professional that we want. Very well. So, you know, we have this path, we have Scana universities to collaborators that want to know a little more about this fantastic world. You can be prepared right now. And to close this block, I would like to ask Renato, how is the journey for data acquisition? You said about data, the importance of it for our production is only to connect an equipment and you are using the data. How does it work in practice? Guys are curious to know about that.
Yes, Juliana, you're right. This is an everyday journey for us. It happens every day here. There's been some preparation for the infrastructure, for the communication layers. We had to do some previous work to implement that. We've been working on it every day. We're still implementing some systems to collect data. Some are working already, but then when we have the data, we transform that data, that algorithm, that complex data into simpler viewing or simpler formats for the process. So in this journey, we're connecting equipment with information layers and then to end users so that end users can actually read the data, interpret the data. So the more devices we connect to a process, the more information we collect, and then the more information we can give to the users, preferably in an agile and simple manner. So it's a continuous journey. We don't see an end to it yet. We know that there's yet a lot to be done in the near future. I'm not talking about the far future. I'm talking about the near future, but I'm very excited about it because we find new opportunities every day. Every day we find new data to inform our decision-making process. So yes, it's fast, it's agile, and it's making us more efficient. Actually, people are also becoming more and more interested in that too. So the people side is exciting, and I'm sure that this journey is still going to bring us many, many good results. Thank you. That's really exciting. If you look at the chat, there's many comments. People are excited about it. Everyone is excited to hear about what's new at Scania. And it's important to say that this is only a sneak peek at what Scania has. It's a world of information and technology. When we open our plants for visits again, I'm sure you will enjoy seeing it up close. Guys, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I hope I can actually see you in person soon, and stay tuned. Stay with us. Right. Before we proceed to our next guest, let's read some more comments. Enrique Castro says, I think it's very interesting to use AI to reduce waste and increase productivity. Anderson Santos says, congratulations on the job done. Larissa says she's proud to be part of this team. Larissa and more employees are saying the same thing. They're saying they're proud to see how high-tech Scania is. There's a comment from Renato dos Santos saying, congratulations, guys. Very useful information for our journey at Scania, #TechWeek. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your questions. And now over to you, Patricia. Thank you, Juliana. ABB is a Nordic company. It's a century-old company, just like Scania. So we have a lot in common. It's been a global leader for over 40 years in the development of robots and software for robotics. 5 years ago, it launched our dear friend Yumi, the first truly collaborative robot in the world. Actually, Yumi, I'm talking about you, right? We're talking about you. You're the star of this session now. And what can you tell us about being a star? Yeah, Yumi. Usain Bolt's gesture. That's cute, Yumi. And this is how we're going to welcome our next guest. Nelson, welcome. Can you hear us? What exactly is collaborative robotics? Tell us more about that. Tell us more about Yumi. I think everyone's curious about it. Good morning, Patricia. First of all, thank you very much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to me. It's an honor to me to be in an event by Scania. Before I talk about collaborative robotics, let me set the context of the history of robotics and ABB. In the 1970s, we launched the first electric industrial robot, which was quickly deployed in the automotive industry. The following decades, ABB continued to invest in more collaborative and articulate robots and launched some new products like the Delta robot, which is a spider robot, as you know it. And we also designed software tools like Robot Studio, which is a virtual commissioning tool that's highly in line with the digitalization trends of Industry 4.0 today. This enabled us to work not only in the automotive industry, but also in other areas like manufacturing overall, consumer goods, foods and beverages, and also appliances and electronic devices. Consequently, in the last decade, the demand surged and we had to deal with increasing requirements. To give you an example, we used to have we had 100,000 robots worldwide, and now we have more than 400,000 units produced worldwide, considering all robot manufacturers, right? So there's been a surge, this quick growth that forced robot manufacturers to think about new ways of using robots and manufacturing robots, because you increased the density of robots in the manufacturing sector. And that's when this new idea came up. That's when we created this new product, the so-called collaborative robots, whose premises are first, improved safety, security, easy deployment, easy installation, flexibility, and also consequently, delivery of production. There are some basic features in any collaborative robot, right? They are small. You don't need the cages or the traditional containers for large size industrial robots. They are slower precisely so that you can comply with safety requirements. And there are some other physical characteristics like collaborative robots have no crushing point to make them safer, software platforms that are easy to use and that do not require much expertise. Well, there are a number of features that help collaborative robots be more accessible, more usable, more user-friendly for your employees, actually, so that everyone can make the most of it, so that these robots can do some of the repetitive work that can cause ergonomic problems, like some of our colleagues said before. This is pretty much the landscape we have today. And then in 2015, we launched Yumi. ABB launched Yumi, which is the star of this session. Like you said, it's a truly collaborative robot. And why do I say it's truly collaborative? Because its use conditions are all within the specs, the standards for collaborative robotics. It can comply with all the requirements in this area and meet all safety requirements. That sounds so cool. Everyone's talking about Yumi in our chat. Someone said, can Yumi make some coffee for us? It's early in the morning and it's a chilly morning. Can it make us some coffee? Well, wait and see. But I have some other questions in addition to the coffee question. Like you said, Enrique, Nelson, robotics is not really a new thing. It's been growing for some time. But what is the trend in the manufacturing world today? What are the main trends, the key trends in the manufacturing sector in Brazil and abroad? Well, robots are a trend, right? And collaborative work is also a trend. The future is collaborative. If you think about it, collaboration is everywhere today. It's a key word for businesses today. In line with this collaborative robot trend and to meet the needs of our customers, ABB recently launched some other collaborative products, GOFA and Swift. I am sharing them on the screen right now. You can see them on the screen now. And there are some studies that say that up to 2037, 30% of all robots manufactured in the world will be collaborative robots. Today, the market share of collaborative robots is still small. The International Federation of Robotics reports a small percentage, below 5%. 5% of the robots produced worldwide are collaborative, but it's been growing at a two-digit speed, a two-digit pace every year. This recent survey also reported that companies are willing to invest in automation. The pandemic increased that need. 80% of the companies stated that they will invest in robotics, and also there's another trend, which is individualization. Today, production lines, shop floors have this concern about how to deliver low volumes with a high production mix. This individualization of production lines is also in line with collaborative robotics in general, the idea of individualization. Another trend that I would like to highlight is digitalization in robotics. ABB robots in this landscape are fully connected to the cloud. They're cloud enabled, so you can monitor all ABB robots remotely, collaborative robots. Of course, there's a lot of security, infrastructure, data protection mechanisms, but with the data in the cloud, you can have preventive diagnosis, failure prevention. You can manage your assets better. You can manage your robots in the best possible way. You can compare results. You can compare operations in a plant, in your system of plants, and also remote access. 5G is upon us, and with that, we'll have better access and better remote assistance too. Okay? Okay, that's a lot of information. Technology, digitalization, robotics, 5G upon us. Nelson already gave us a spoiler of that. What's going to happen with the 5G? I'm excited about it. Now let's take a look at the comments, Juliana. We have more, don't we? Yes, let's start with the comments about Yumi. Yumi is a star, right? Sula, who works at Scania, says she's working from home and her 4-year-old twins saw Yumi on her screen and loved it. They have robotics in school. And if our future is tech, can you imagine the future of the twins? That's impressive, isn't it? What is it going to be like? Some people want Yumi to be their babysitter, to help with remote work, to do the cleaning. Can I have a Yumi at home? We're going to ask Nelson in a minute. But another question from the VIP booth from Vivian Bernardi is, today, does ABB work in the healthcare industry? Maybe a robot that can help in surgeries. What can you tell us about robotics for healthcare, Nelson? Yes, ABB is doing some work in that. Actually, we have a strong presence in the healthcare sector. ABB invests more than $1 billion in research and development. In the United States, we have the TMC, the Texas Medical Center, where we're designing and developing robotic solutions for laboratories and medical applications. So yes, it's a trend and we've been working on it for some time already. Amazing. I love to see when trends come about and actually change our lives. Do we have more questions from your side, Juliana, or can I ask my question now? Because I have a question. We do have some more questions, but Patricia, you can ask yours. All right, so Nelson, forget about Yumi for a while and let's talk about you. Please, can you tell us more about how robots can actually be deployed and introduced in plants and factories in general? Yes, yeah, based on what we have today. Today, we already have some digitalization, some automation, but how can we go about further integration? In this survey done by, or commissioned by ABB, companies said that they would use robots, but there are still some constraints to put robots into practice, to actually deploy robots, because small and medium-sized companies do not have the technical staff required to operate and do the maintenance of robots. So this new range of products, especially collaborative robotics, comes with some innovation features that make them more user-friendly and more collaborative. And I'm not only talking about hardware, I'm talking about software too. We have pieces of software that make it easier for you to use the robot. They do not require much knowledge or much technical education to use. So this has been facilitating the introduction of robotics in these plants. Well, I'll ask you another question. I think you get that a lot, but now it's my turn. People who are watching us said that we're going to live, or we're going to coexist in harmony with robots, but you probably get that question a lot. So tell me, what landscape do you expect? Will robots ever take the place of humans? What is your take on that? Are we actually replacing people with robots? Yes, I do get that a lot, Patricia. But I would say no. I wouldn't say that's not a risk, really. I could draw an analogy comparing a widely used measure in the industry, like it's the density of robots, the robot density. Today, we have a measure of per 10,000 employees. The global average is about 100 robots for every 10,000 employees. In developed countries like Germany, There's more than 300 robots for every 10,000 employees, but we haven't seen unemployment growing in Germany because of robots. We see that German companies are more competitive. Germany is more competitive as a country in manufacturing, so they're optimizing their processes and the quality of their products. Brazil, for comparison purposes, our density is 14 robots for 10,000 employees. So there's much room for growth without affecting employment rates. There's much potential here. In the automotive industry, this average is slightly higher. There's about 130 robots for every 10,000 employees. So we see this technology more popular in the automotive industry, but it's growing in consumer goods and foods and beverages. So I would say that robots will not replace humans. Robots will increase productivity and improve modernization, but I don't see growth in unemployment as a risk. Yeah. On that note, we also have many robots in our operation at Scania, and we know that it takes different training. It takes further training for some professionals who used to do repetitive tasks are now working with preventive maintenance. They're working in the backstage of robots, for example. So I think they had to learn more. They had to be trained again. And we always have to see the half full glass and not the half empty glass. We can turn robotics into an opportunity. And thinking about that, Nelson, can you tell us more about the profile of these professionals? I would love to work with robotics. So what is the profile or what type of education, what type of training should we suggest for someone who wants to work with robots like Yumi? That's an interesting question. Automation is increasing the demand for robots. So there's a growing demand for training and education in automation. But I would say that, for example, ABB invests in that training. We have a training center here in our Guarulhos unit where we train people from the industry. We train for this type of competence. So yes, there are some steps to the process. Some people want to get a deep learning of the process and design their own algorithms. So they need to have some training in programming and advanced learning, but there's also training for your first robot experience with collaborative robots. Software enables you to use robots much more easily. We have some new programming platforms that have interactive blocks that you can drag and drop and create some command positions to make the robot perform a given activity or given task. And that's it. So there is some growing concern about training and education, and there are different levels of needs. At ABB, we have some training initiatives to prepare people for the industry and to help us design new platforms and solutions to make that easier. Together with that, there are some interesting benefits, partnerships with teaching and education institutions where robots, they have some advantages to buy robots. And the training and the education initiatives are free for schools. Just fill out a form, confirm that that's for education, for an education institution, for a school, a college, or a university, and then you get the training for free. What about you? Are you ready to work in this world of robotics and automation? If you're interested in that, tell us in the chat. And to talk about the chat, now over to you, Juliana. What do we have in the chat?
Many comments. I have a question from the VIP box. Elio Silva is asking, can a person, how many collaborative robots a person can control inside a process? That's a comprising question. We have operators today that take care of the programming. They are more like maintainers, robot maintainers. If you have a cell with many robots, a line or a production island with many robots, you would only need one operator taking care of all the production and maintenance of this equipment. A supplier that depending on the automation level, it would be this supply, this fulfillment, this charge and discharge. And the AGVs, as we said before, Scanner has used it a lot regarding materials logistics inside the company. Perfect. Thank you very much, Nelson. And Rafael Costa said 110% of interest. He's really interested in robotics. He is go for it and to know what he can learn about it. Do we have more questions? Yes, one from our YouTube chat, Andressa is asking, Nelson, which are the most promising markets to collaborative robots? We have many applications to collaborative robotics. It's not limited to automobile markets. We have spreading it through all the industry. We are developing solutions for segments just like food and beverage, general industry for materials, transformation as a metal mechanic, plastic, rubber, and each time more we are also in solutions to the services area, solutions for logistics areas, customer service area. You see collaborative robots, some of ours in social media, making point of sale service in shopping malls, for example. We have numerous applications. It's really widespread, the robotics application in general. It's really good. Another question from Hugo Pérez de Freitas. He would like to know, what are the biggest challenges of implementing robots in big scale in consolidated productive processes? Currently, the biggest challenge, let's say, is doing the whole mapping of your process. To work with robotics, you need to have processes, stabilization, quality of your products, so we are able to migrate from a manual process to an automatized process. The level of automation and complexity of the automation will depend on how will we fit this transition. Very well. We have now another question from our chat. Elisângela Barbosa would like to know if ABB is acting in other areas besides robotics. Yes, we have many divisions, many departments. ABB automation is separated in three big sectors. Electrification, you have low voltage to average voltage materials, panels for industries, motion. We are commercializing ABB engines, drives, PLCs, and all the safety part in automation, and robotics. Robotics is inside the automation box as well. Inside this contest, BNR is part of ABB portfolio as well. PLC and drivers, manufacturers, and industrial computers as well. It's interesting to know about that. And Nelson, I'm from Rio de Janeiro, and I heard that Sugarloaf technology is from ABB. Yes, this was the trailer from Sugarloaf, was one of our biggest projects. A lot of people doing this nice trip with the ad of ABB. That's nice. When everything has passed, you can go to the cable car on Rio and you remember ABB. And Giuliani making advertising at Rio de Janeiro. Everybody from Rio is like that. That's nice, this multicultural area. Another question from Salton Leno. He would like to know, what is the necessary formation background to execute the a robot programming inside the process? It depends on the level of programming required. We have many levels of programming according to the robot application. You would have at the beginning, if you work with new ABBs, collaborative robots, the level of formation or the requirement would be a low one, because we are able to qualifying you, he will be able to program a robot in less than a week, 3 or 4 days, he will be able to program a robot. There are programs or events we have more details, more complex solutions where we make a complementation of a further week of training, where you could also develop additional programs with algorithms development and so on. Very well. Thank you very much, Nelson. We only ask Nelson to be with us until the end of the show, because in the end we will open the VIP areas we have doing every day. Thank you, Nelson, to help us so far. And now we'll prepare ourselves for the next block. We'll know about Nestlé's case, another centenary company passing through a huge digital transformation process with production and logistics to generate value to the consumer, the end consumer. And to prepare you for the solution that we'll present in the next part of the show, we have this second question of the day. I would like to know about your consumption habits during the pandemic. Did you do online shopping for the first time on the pandemic? You started to buy more online. You abandoned the physical store shopping, and you did not buy online. What kind of consumer are you right now in this digital moment, in this pandemic moment? Are you digital right now? Point your camera to our screen, and with this QR code, you can click on the answer that pleases you better. Now we'll call a break. Patricia and I will have a coffee, but today we have, what can I say? Something really cute that will help us in this challenge of having our coffee. There are people that are really attentive to our Tech Week. Realize that. I think Yumi will make our coffee, isn't it? That's a luxury. On the chat, you got it right. We have a surprise. Yumi will kindly help us with our coffee. This will be one of the best coffees I have ever drunk. It would be for sure the most fun experience of drinking coffee. Let's open.
É o seguinte, a gente vai colocar o Yumi para servir café. Que a gente tem que abrir aqui os... isso aí, para encaixar a cápsula do café.
Yes, he has to fit the coffee capsule. I interrupted Yumi's process. Let's do it again. Yumi is kind of excited of being here. I am. What kind of coffee do you want, Ju? Let's get this one. I will serve coffee to you with Yumi, okay? Please, let's help. Do you have any comments about Yumi? What do you think about coffee with Yumi? People are telling they love Yumi. They telling they love the hosts. Nildo said, I'm from Pará State and I'm proud of being part of this team. So nice. This coffee is genius. Good coffee. What kind of coffee do you like? We are prepared for a special one. Did you have a lot of coffee during the pandemic? I found out that they had an experiment when a spider drinks too much coffee, the web is creating in a zigzag. So take care about how much coffee do you take. If you don't have a Yumi at home, you are doing your own coffee right now, isn't it? Let's check what he's going to do. That's a real experience. Who would like Yumi to serve you coffee at home? Thiago said, I want it. Even the coffee is 4.0. Everything is 4.0 here. You that haven't had coffee yet, we are going to the break. You can drink some water, a coffee, and then come back with us, okay? After the along the break, we'll show the video they told about mosquito. It worth the waiting, okay? Oh, he's just serving coffee. He's really kind. We are in times where this is really necessary. Great. Cheers with a coffee cup with my newest friend, Yumi. Thank you, guys. Now you go get your own coffee, okay? We'll have a break, 6 minutes break, and then we'll come back, okay? Stay tuned. Mosquito project starting the end of 2020, and due to the warehouse changes, bringing a huge benefit and logistic part to Scanner about capacity, it also brought many challenges. One of the biggest one was the height issue. In the old warehouse, there was 8 meters high. They could do the radiance half of it, 4 meters using the collector, and the other 4 meters, they will use a lifting platform. With the new warehouse with 12 meter height, the platform is a bottleneck in the process. The benefit of the drone is safety to the operator. He can be on floor where reading the box in any height. Before, the operator used the lift platform and he could do it manually. Now, with the drone, he can be on the floor and read any box in our warehouse. Another benefit, the speed of the reading. It doesn't need to make manual readings anymore. Uma curta história da
Olá, já estamos de volta, já tomamos o nosso café, servido gentilmente pelo Yumi, e agora ele continua aqui, um querido, quer oferecer para a gente
We had our coffee kindly served by Yumi, and Yumi is now serving chocolate. Yes, the coffee is really good. There's coffee and chocolate. It's so good together. And now I have my best friend here serving me some. And this chocolate has everything to do to our guest. But first we have the result of our poll. How was your consumption habit during the pandemic? I would like to know your answers. If you purchase more online or less online. The huge majority. Production, please help me. We ask how was the consumption habit? The absolute majority, they are buying more online. And there's just one person that didn't buy anything. And some people abandoned the physical stores shopping. That's a trend that's here to stay. And now, Patty, let's call our next guest. Yes, please. I'm excited. It's time to call Carolina Sevisiuk, food engineering with that pass-through marketing area. And now she's at the digital transformation, innovation, sustainability area of Nestle. Good morning, Carolina. Are you listening to us? Good morning, girls. I'm listening to you well, perfectly. Everything is okay here with the ad of Yumi, with the good vibes from everyone watching. We have chat, VIP box, everything the way we like. Thank you.
Congratulations on the event, on the initiative. Kudos to the organizers. Thank you. Thank you. And it's our pleasure. To prepare this event, we had to study a lot. I had to learn a lot to be able to talk to you and actually conduct this conversation. So from our side, it's also been a wonderful experience. So let me start with some questions for you, Carol. Why sustainability? Why are sustainability, digital innovation are together in one department at Nestle? How did you come up with this business model? I asked myself the same question when Marcelo, the head of Nestle here in Brazil, invited me to start this area. I have to talk about the history of the process, so I'll try to be brief, but you can interrupt me if I start talking too much, right? But I want to share some of our learnings and some of our reflections on that process. We had an innovation area about 6 years ago. It was an innovation area that was highly focused not only on products. We understood that innovation goes beyond product. It's about experiences, business models, how you relate with your customers and how your customers let you build a relationship with them. So about 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I was talking to Marcelo, and the next challenges of a company like ours and like yours, we said something is going on out there. Consumers are no longer relating to our brands as they did 10 years ago, 5 years ago. They're buying differently. Just share the poll about changes in shopping behaviors. So people are buying differently, consuming differently. They are expecting different experiences. Everyone has somehow changed their consumption habits. Everyone. And that's for chocolate bars, that's for sweet condensed milk, coffee, or trucks. So we thought about what to do differently to continue to address these experiences and these opportunities for our customers. Nestle's been in Brazil for 100 years, and we've been in Brazil for about 100 years and 99% of the households. This is a big responsibility because consumers let us into their homes. When you buy something online or offline, you're choosing a product, you choose a brand. And as a brand, it's amazing to have this opportunity to actually be inside people's homes, to have this close contact with almost every Brazilian home. So, since consumers are having different relationships with brands and people are even using products differently, especially now because of the pandemic, but even before. So, we realized that if we continue to do things same way as before, we wouldn't survive another 100 years, right? So we made this future back exercise and we realized that we needed to take action. We needed to change the way we communicate, the way we launch our products, and even the way we produce and deliver our goods. So the digital transformation area started with this perception a couple of years ago of having to do something different. We realized we need to do things differently to stay within our purpose, to comply with our values, our principles, and deliver the best nutrition we can to our consumers, the best product, the best experience. So the digital transformation area began because of that. And we chose this name, digital transformation, because we started to study the topic. I started studying it, and some partners here helped me along the way. And we understood that digital transformation was a way to show that we needed to accelerate this movement in here. Funny thing is that when I was setting up the digital transformation area, we chose some people, we were changing to a different, we were moving to another building. And then they said, Carol, take a look at your floor, where you're going to be based, what you're going to need, what your team's going to need, and how we can have this experience in the new building. And I remember, and I also work with IT, and I remember my IT area had a meeting with me, and they said, how fast is the internet there? Because it's a digital transformation area, so we needed super fast internet. And I said, yeah, never thought about that. I think we should reframe the whole thing because digital transformation is not only about technology. Technology is an enabler of the digital transformation. It's about people, after all, right? So we started with innovation. The area started with innovation and we expanded it over time. Now we have a data lab so that we can learn more about our customers. The data lab deals with architecture and governance to the creation of digital assets. We have an innovation pipeline, a pipeline of digital sales so that we can be where our customers are, wherever they want to buy us, online and offline. And I also have an IT area under this overarching structure. And then earlier this year, we had a meeting to discuss what happened last year. And there's something that's effervescent in this market. People are increasingly aware that big organizations like ours have the responsibility and the duty to create and mobilize society. We have to engage society, economically speaking, and also in terms of sustainability. We have to be regenerative. There's no point in continuing to produce as we have always produced. We were product driven in the past, and now we have to be people driven. Sustainability is also important because we have an innovation area that is pervasive in our organization. And then by design, the organization must be sustainable. It has to be at the core of anything we launch, anything we do, any communication we make with our customers, because it's in our foundation. When we look at the history of Nestle, we have a strong history of social mobilization, mobilization toward healthy eating, better nutrition, our long-standing history with rich, nutritious products so that we can nourish our customers. So yes, Patricia, this has been the process, and sustainability is also a must today. You can no longer talk about new business models and innovation without talking about sustainability, and that's why it's important for us. Our business must be sustainable for future generations, and in addition to being sustainable, we have to regenerate. We have to make this system stronger, more robust, and regenerative for the future generations. That's amazing, Carol. Thank you. we're both long or century-old companies that are highly concerned about sustainability issues. You just reinforced something that we've been talking about here too. Those of you who've been with us since Monday know that everything starts and ends with people. The consumption experience is all about people more than ever. And technology, like Carol said, is an enabler. Good to hear that from you. And it's interesting to learn more about what Nestle has been doing. You said it's pervasive. These verticals or these areas are pervasive in your company. And that's very interesting. And that's in line with what we have been saying here. And now you talked about consumption habits, consumers, the pandemic. So let me ask you, how did you adapt so quickly to that? You had to turn the key overnight. So what was that process like? What was the adaptation process like? There were basically three phases, internally speaking. I think everyone has gone through that somehow, professionally or personally, right? So first, our first reaction in the beginning of 2020, we were still trying to figure out what was going on in the world, but we took action quickly inside. And then what did we do? We had meetings, daily meetings, with the top managers, so that we could understand what each area needed from another. And based on that, we empowered the ends, the edges. I empowered sales promoters to tell me what was actually missing on the shelves, or stock keepers. I empowered the shop floor to decide what we needed to produce and what we could produce with what we had in inventory. There was a lot of alignment work at the top level, and we empowered the employees at the end too. That gave us agility, that increased the speed of our adaptation. Also, in the beginning of the journey, some areas were under greater pressure than others, right? Just for you to give you an example, my area of digital sales in the beginning of last year there were 7 people in that team, and overnight, literally, we onboarded over 120 people for that area, and we used the job rotation system, and we coined the term collaborative mission. So people who couldn't be in the front line for some reason because of the pandemic, people who would otherwise be more focused on projects that lost relevance because of the pandemic, they were automatically redirected to my area, to my team. We onboarded almost 120 people. So this was also an important step. We had to understand what we already had. Our people are driven, our people are focused on what's going on. So we are all on the same page. And then it works pretty much like an orchestra. My area, my digital transformation area, was responsible for orchestrating the rest of the work, for conducting it, right? So if people in this chat consumed more online, pretty much everyone consumed more online, shopped more online. So we had to be fast on our side, even to help retailers. We had to understand the service level we needed to actually supply the digital shelves. In the beginning of the pandemic, if you looked at e-retailers, it took them 15 days to deliver your groceries, right? And we coordinated with them. We worked very closely with them. We have the Nestle Emporium. We have about 10 stores under my coordination, and we went online about a year and a half ago. That was an excellent laboratory for us to learn about that, and then later that learning helped us work with our retailers, with our partners. We talked about service level, promoters looking at online shelves, because we have some promoters and stock keepers working with offline shelves, but some people only buy online these days. So we had to shift to that. We have to shift our mindset to that. We had to be fast, but we had to be orchestrated. This movement has to be orchestrated and as seamless as possible. You have to understand what to do and what not to do. And that's why it's important to keep working on it, never stop, so that you have learning enough. Collaborative missions were extremely important for the entire organization, for the entire transformation process, and we used that to increase the capabilities, to enhance the capabilities of our staff in this area of digital transformation. It was almost like a real life MBA. There was no theory, there was practice. You had to make it happen. You had to look at the websites of e-retailers to see if your price was adequate, if your content was right, if the photos, the pictures were right. So that was extremely important. It took a lot of effort, but I think we made it. I'm sorry, Patricia. Have I said too much? No, please finish. Another important thing was that these are movements that this is not a revolution in itself. It's an evolution. Before the pandemic, I had to convince people that we had to be more collaborative, that we had to pay more attention to online, that consumers were changing their shopping behaviors. And now I don't have to waste my time doing that anymore. People know that already. So now we're all focused on how to best service our customers, best serve our customers in this digital world. I don't need to insist on that anymore. And that's amazing. And we're already reaping the results. That's impressive. That's impressive. Here, some processes had to gain speed quickly, and I'm happy you're also reaping some of the fruits of this process. Here we had a lot of learning because of that new situation too. Carol, you talked a lot about consumers, consumption, but what about your production area? What was the digital transformation like in your processes? If we think about the circle, production, product, consumer, or delivery, consumer, what is your take on that? What is the role of digital transformation and innovation in your production areas? When I look at the operations of Nestlé, they're very solid. We have some very solid operations and systems in place. Some operations are more efficient. We've been, like any other big organization, we've been pursuing greater efficiency in how we produce and how we deliver. And about 2 years ago, we started talking more about efficiency with flexibility. It's not either or, either efficiency or flexibility. It's and or, it's efficiency and flexibility. And Industry 4.0 enables us to do that better because as big corporations, we have huge production lines, plants. When I was a product manager at Nestle, before we launched an SKU, there were like minimal batches, and the minimal batches for an SKU, our minimum batch would be enough to supply the whole country, right? And now we don't need that much size anymore. Also, because we're talking about customization at scale, like Dolce Gusto coffee or the Nespresso coffee you just brewed for yourself, or the robot brewed for you. You want to consume arpeggio, and then you want to drink some dulção. That doesn't even exist anymore, but it was wonderful. Anyway, whatever an espresso flavor you want. So today you have to customize more because Carolina is different from Patricia, who's different from Juliana. But how can we do customization at scale? Today, our operations are increasingly focused on customization at scale. Industry 4.0 is playing a leading role in that, but technology for itself, technology just for the sake of it, is not enough. Anyone can have it. What you have to do is to empower your shop floor, empower your distribution hub, because that's where they actually know the pain points. That's where they need, where the drone has to be. I love the drone that you have just shown us. I loved it. I'm here, I'm in the office, I'm downtown Sao Paulo. I don't know much, or I don't know everything about the plants or the distribution hubs, but that's very important for the operations. That's very important for those at the shop floor. Any company can have that, but you have to empower those at the end to work with that. So to answer your question, our operations and our productions are increasingly empower the end users so that we can have collaborative decisions. Amazing. That's music to my ears. I'm sure we have clapping hands in the chat now because we know what that means in our everyday work. So to wrap up, I have a final question for you. Actually, I have two questions. It's a two-in-one. It's a combo question. Carol, you're a century-old company. So what have you been doing with startups? How have you been investing and innovating with startups? And what about gamification? What can you tell us about innovation through startups? And how are you bringing gamification to the game? What's Nestle doing in these two areas? We're a century-old company like Scania, so 6 years ago, about 6 years ago, we like to do everything alone. We thought we had solutions from end to end. We have amazing engineers, we can design and produce and deliver. Our products are amazing, our engineers are amazing, but we understood that first, collaboratively speaking, and, and, and I used to talk about collaboration 3 years ago, and now we talk about competition. So when you open the challenge to the entire network, you gain incredible speed and assertiveness. You get it right more easily. So why deny that? Why not do that? So as a large company, we learned to work with startups and scale ups. It was not an easy process. It took us a change of heart, a change of culture. It didn't happen overnight, and I believe it's similar in Scania because first, when you have a meeting, people sit. Sometimes they sit face to face. I like to sit with startups side by side, and then when you start working with a startup, you get to the meeting room, and then there's two lawyers asking about NDAs. In the other side, the startup is only trying to understand our pain points, our opportunities. So we had to learn a lot. From the moment we draft a contract to when we finally sit together to design a solution, to understand the role of each player in the design of the solution, in the delivery of the solution. So yes, it took a lot of effort to change that here, but I can proudly say that we have matured fast. We have a beautiful innovation center in São José dos Campos, upstate São Paulo. So, and it's now focused on Industry 4.0 in a century-old company that has always been very close for the manufacturing and operations area. So I'm proud to say that yes, we have come a long way already. We have made some progress. There's still room for growth, but yes, we've been working with startups and scale-ups for over 5 years and with suppliers as well. We have three fronts of open innovation here. There's a front where we encourage employees to work on that. We have a front where we pose challenges outside, like we did last year, something like that. And we have the innovation challenge for our suppliers. I don't like to say suppliers, I'd rather say partners. But anyway, this is an important front. We have an area focused on open innovation that is oiling the whole process. As for gamification, it comes from open innovation. Your gamification is a challenge of open innovation. And I have two opinions about gamification. It's going on, it's undeniable, whether you have children or not, even adults are into gamification. During the pandemic, we all became more online, more connected. So games are not only for playing only, but gaming platforms are also social networks. Gaming platforms are great opportunities for socializations, and brands are still exploring that, charting the land, because there's no point in having a logo there of Kit Kat, because that's not going to be enough. He's not there to look for Kit Kat information. He's interested in buying a new gun or buying something else to interact with his friend's avatar that is across the world. So gamification is important. Yes, we've been looking at it, but we first have to understand what brands should be there, because that's also important. Which brands can legitimately and genuinely be in this gaming world? We understand that gamification plays an important role in the training of Industry 4.0. Gamification can also be used for us internally to improve the training we give to our teams. So we're using gamification outside and inside. We have an innovation square here that's dedicated to games, and we're trying to understand how to apply games to our own operations.
I can say we are all evolving hearing you, because it's really cool seeing the flexibility, creativity, so many things you were able to do. It's really we are really proud of having a company like this, evolving with the human trends, bringing digitalization as something from people to people. With that, I want to say, I want to call our VIP box. We have more questions. Are you ready? We have a first question to Carolina. Who is coming to talk to us? Hello, good morning. Good morning. Are you listening to me? Perfectly. First, I would like to thank you for the opportunity. I'm Beatriz. I studied engineering at Fay University. I would like to make a question to Carolina. Normally, when we have new digitalization proposals, we have a small pilot to test its efficiency. And in case it's promising, we will share these tools with the other areas. But so the implementation is well succeed, we need to analyze the characteristics of each area to adapt the tool in our favor. I would like to know, what are the main challenges to implement this digital transformation in a uniform way in different sectors, in different branches, and how did you overcome that? Well, first, amazing. I studied close to you at Mauá. It was really close to your university. We were always fighting Fay in a good sense, your university. The challenging inside digital transformation, yes, there is. Before talking about challenge, I like to talk about how my team works. My team is hacking the company in a good sense. It's like a team entering with a positive discomfort in any meetings. But the most important, we have to know what we're going to do. The most important, yes, methodology, when you're talking about doing the pilot, understanding the scalability, the impact in what we are doing, it's perfect. But we have to come from a roadmap. A roadmap is not only from Carolina's area, it's a roadmap of the company, where we'll be clear on the impact, the business challenge, what the company wants in the next 1 year, for example. It's important to know about the impact, what is behind that, and if it works, what I'm going to do. What means working? You said, you just showed the interaction robot. I forgot his name, I'm sorry, but making coffee and chocolate. We did this customization at Morumbi Shopping Mall. We had a robot assembling your specialties box, chocolate box. How can we scale that? What are we testing? It's important to know what do we want from this test and how we will get there. I work in innovation for 10 years. We fall in love with the idea, the solution. It's important establishing governance, because the team sometimes is so involved with the solution. At the time of unplugging, it's like you are removing an arm from a child you have. It's hard doing that. Everything starts with a good portfolio project discussion. Some projects, we understand they will have impact in short and long time. And the way I work with projects under the radar. It means you can give me this budget, I will test 3 avenues, and we will only direct which is the avenue. I will test an avenue for help aging, for candies platforms, as we have for our 2 years, and nobody's bothering me. I'm protecting that, but the business is running. I don't know if I answered your question, but we have challenges. We have good days, wonderful days, as everybody has, but some days we say, oh my God, you take a deep breath, you come to an event like this, you change experience and come back home to work again. That's the inspiration. Thank you, Carolina, for your answer, and Beatriz for the question. We have another question from our VIP box. Who is the next one? Hello, Bruna. Hello, guys. How are you? I would like to thank for being here with you today. So much knowledge. And my question is for Nelson. In fact, I am civil engineer, graduated at Unicamp University, but I'm really connected to innovation systems. I participated on Scan Innovation in 2018. I work in a logistics company right now. And inside my company, I had this experience of seeing the implementation of digital models, data management, propelling productivity of terminals, for example, where I work today. I would like to understand about your view. What are the biggest challenges in the logistic areas to implement these digital and automatized models? Thank you, Bruna. Hello, Bruna. Thanks for the question. It's interesting. We had some contacts in the last year trying to implement the robotics part with your company, but in the digitalization process in a whole context, ABB has a platform, a digitalization platform called Ability. We have more than 100 digital solutions working with assets management, remote monitoring of some equipment in general. Inside robotics, which is my area, we had some studies in the past to make the opening of wagons and load and unloading terminals, supplying, verification, sampling of equipment. We have many opportunities in this sector, but the biggest challenge would be the variability of the process currently. When we're talking about automatization, robotization, we have to have stable processes. And to make this implementation feasible of these automation processes inside logistic points as your company, in case we would need different resources inside robotics and scanning system, for example, these are the biggest challenges, but nothing that would forbid this. We are moved by challenges. Always when we have a demand, a need, please always count on us. You are moved by the challenges. That's really good. Thank you, Bruna and Nelson. We have another question from our VIP box for Carolina. Daniel. Hello, how are you? Good morning to you all. Are you hearing me? Perfectly, let's go. First, I would like to thank the opportunity of being here. It's an honor. I'm electric engineering student, and I was a champion on the last Innovaton that we had. My question is to Carolina. With the crisis we are facing, many companies from different sectors were affected in their productive chain. So how the new automation and digitalization process may contribute so these companies keep themselves active. Yes, it's good. The context. We have a difference between digitalizing the process and creating digital models. We are in a moment of balance. What is digitalize and create digital models? In digitalizing a process, we have a huge opportunity when we are understanding a portfolio per region, understanding my customer, because Brazil is a continent. We have more than 200 million inhabitants. And inside Nestlé Brazil, we have 42 million heavy users consuming the product with certain frequency, average volume. If I understand about this consumer, where is him, how is he purchasing, and how is he consuming, I have something giant in my chain because I will only buy what I need to buy. And I have an efficiency with working capital, an impact over my logistic chain, impact in factory. When I understand my customer, I really understand him deeply, I can do the entire MVP cycle. We have this sellout part. As a huge company, 5, 6 years ago, we had a selling mentality, mindset. You just produce it and want the customer buy it. It's changing. Look at your cart. What has changed? What are you buying just for need? You are creating needs. What you're never going to buy. And when we understand the customer, we understand how the person is consuming. If I can do this reading from outside to inside with the data, I can optimize my chain and optimize the whole impact I have behind it. My suppliers, raw material in field, we influence a lot in 3 productive chains, cocoa, coffee, and milk. You can imagine how our impact is important inside all of it. I don't know if I answered your question. Fantastic. Initiatives positively impacting, trying to help or balance the sector. Thank you, Carol, for your answer. Now we have any other? The last one, because our time is ending, but Ivan, please. Good morning, everybody. Another inspiring day. Congratulations for the organization, really inspiring. My question to Nelson, regarding traditional robots, we have a big demand in all the senses to integration of this equipment in factory. And if not most of them, many times these installations are made by specialized companies. On collaborative robots, on your experience, how will be this integration? Does it have to be simplified, flexibilized, thinking on the end consumer? Hello, Ivan. Yes, with the introduction of collaborative robots, the integration process is simplified first because the safety part, as you know, well, the traditional ones, and we need closing for service and some safety measures. Collaborative robots, it's not necessary. You can work with contact directly, monitoring that, or areas monitoring where you control the proximity of people or objects in the working area of the robot. Consequently, integration is simplified, really. And with this use facility, with these new digital platforms, the commissioning is simplified because the programming language is more friendly. Consequently, you optimize your integration and installation of this time of these tools, of this equipment. Thank you, Nelson. Thank you, everybody. This very nice view. I'm seeing the box, our guests that were here bringing so much information and inspiration. Look at Lindney again. He is here every day. Andrea is hidden. For you, who is a student, is following us, you know, Scania is tech, is pop, is people. This is the digital transformation. People from end to end doing things, making things happen. We are closing now. We are 3 minutes behind the schedule, but it worked. Checked. One more day. We are saying goodbye to you all. Thank you very much. The ones following in the last 2 hours our event, the guys from the chat, from Box. Thank you very much to our guests, Nelson, Carolina, and Yumi. We cannot forget Yumi. But tomorrow at 10 a.m. we are here again, Brazilian time, to talk to other guests on the digitalization challenge. What a hard word to say. And how is it an allied or not? We'll wait here for you for another epic moment, but epic will be Yumi's goodbye. I will call the VIP box again to say goodbye, Carolina and Nelson. Let's take a selfie, the VIP area. Yumi, please help us to say goodbye to everybody. Where's our box? Selfie with Yumi. Box, everybody looking now with the box. That's it. Thank you very much. I see you tomorrow. I see you at 10 a.m. Thank you very much.